Hey everyone, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm Andrea Amador, the moderator and the owner of the group Grants Made Easy with Andrea Amador. This is my Facebook group, and I'm streaming out to you also at YouTube and my profile. And I'm so excited to have you here and to teach you about the basics of grants. So, we're talking today about grant basics, how to get money for yourself, your family, and your business. So, if anybody can give me a shout out and let me know that you can hear me, that would be amazing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a screen share. Okay, we'll see if this works because yesterday it didn't work. So, this is Grant Basics Get Money for Yourself, Your Family, and Your Business. And I'm very excited to be sharing this with you because this information will change your life as it has changed mine. And back in 2020, my family and I were struggling desperately with finances because I had lost all of my clients due to COVID. So I don't know about you, but has COVID left you struggling with finances like it hit me? Let me know. Share that in the comments. Is debt weighing you down? If it is, then grants can help you get out of debt. So you may wonder, what are grants and how can grants help you? Well, grants are United States government money programs that provide rent relief, cash, and tons of different types of assistance like free business consulting, house counseling, debt consultation, career consultation, pet care, care for caregivers, for seniors. The list is endless, and it's at no cost to you. Now, one of the things that you really need to be careful of is to protect yourself from what are called grant scams. And maybe you're familiar with this, maybe not, but perhaps you've gotten a call or gotten a message or voicemail on your cell phone saying that you've been approved for a grant, and to call the person back so that they can just get some information from you and everything will be great. You'll be getting the money from the grant. Don't buy it, okay? Because legitimate grants are never offered by phone. Employees who work for the government are hardworking people who really care about their jobs, and they are so overworked and they don't have time to be calling you and I saying, guess what? You've been approved for a grant. It just doesn't work that way. So, what I want is for you to be skeptical. Tip number two is be skeptical of people who are promising you grants and asking for your money or information. Now, this is something that comes from a government agency. It's called the Federal Trade Commission. This is a regulation. It says no government agency will ever contact you to demand that you pay to get a grant. And no government agency will ask you to pay with a gift card, iTunes gift card, cash reload card, by money transfer, or cryptocurrency. If anybody ever approaches you with that type of a request, you automatically know that this is not legitimate. Tip number three, to protect yourself from scams, grant scams. Government grants always have eligibility requirements to serve a specific purpose. And what I mean by that is that government grants are intended for a very specific and narrow purpose. The reasons why are so that they can be fulfilled by a certain type of situation. They resolve certain issues. So, for example, a grant that requires a rent relief grant would require you to provide a copy of your lease, a copy of any correspondence with your landlord, your accounting, your journal of payments of the rent that you've made. All of that is required. So if you're ever approached and told, hey, we're going to give you a grant and there are no strings and there's no eligibility requirements, that is your hint that this is not real. It's a scam. Tip number four, never, ever, ever pay for a list of government grants because it's part of the public domain. Learning about government grants, there's information on grants.gov. So you never, ever have to pay for this information because it is there for you. Just go on the internet, grants.gov, and you will see all the different types of grants available to you. Tip number five. You actually have the power to report scammers and people who are trying to defraud you, promising grants. So if you suspect that someone is impersonating a government official or attempting to say that they're going to get you a grant, and all you have to do is provide some information. Just give us your social security card number. Just give us your credit card number, your bank account. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. You can report those people because they're actually attempting to defraud you and mislead you. They are trying to cheat you of your money and your identity. So you can call the HHS fraud line at 1-800-447-8477. And you can also email support@grants.gov. So you may wonder, what is this about grants? Like, why does the government give grants? How is that even possible that there's money circulating for you that you don't know about? And why are grants even made available to the public? Well, the reason why is because that grants stimulate the economy. When people can't pay their rent, when people are not able to afford their bills and they lose their housing and they are homeless, then they don't have any ability to be able to pay taxes. They don't have the ability to pay for anything. So by offering grants to people who are income eligible, the government is actually lifting up the people, the citizens of the United States, for the purpose of helping them to flow and get the economy stimulated for the purpose of you and me being able to pay our tax dollars. That's all what it's about. It's about stimulating the economy so that the government gets their money through our taxes. Now, let's be clear. Grants are not like loans, so you never, ever, ever have to pay them back. You never have to pile up debt. You never have to ask your friends or family or anybody to borrow money. It's not borrowing money. Grants are not borrowing money. It is money that is handed to you. There are no strings attached. Now I know now I sound like a scammer, but there are no strings attached because when you have met the eligibility requirements for a grant, that money is yours. Now, there are often caveats. So, for example, when I first started, when I applied for grants, the first grant that I had gotten, as I had explained, 2020 was a really, really tough year. And I lost all of my clients due to COVID. And what the consequence of that was that my husband and I went from a 2 income family to a 1 income family, literally overnight. And we weren't able to pay our $1,800 a month rent. And we weren't able to pay our bills, and everything fell behind. And we lived in New York, in Dutchess County, and at the time, there was a CDC moratorium on evictions. And that meant that because of COVID, the threat of COVID, that no landlord in the New York area, in the New York State area, was able to evict tenants for the purpose of protecting the tenants to stay in their homes because there was a threat of the pandemic. So luckily, we were not evicted, but what was happening was our rent was accruing each month at the rate of $1,800 a month. So at one point, around the 4-month mark, because I was panicking and completely overwhelmed and unable to think straight, a friend of mine had suggested, hey, Andrea, why don't you check out grants? And I am an author and a speaker. And so research comes so naturally to me. And I thought, okay, I can do this. So I went on the internet, because that's the first place I go, went to YouTube to find information about grants, just to check. And I found Matthew Lesko. And I remember he's a 5-time best-selling author. He is an amazing, amazing gentleman. And he knows more than anybody could possibly know about grants. He's been doing this for 50 years. So when I saw one of his videos and I recognized that in the past I had purchased his books, I felt I felt like I had gotten an affirmation. I felt really good. So I started looking at the video, and the more and more I watched it, the more confident I felt that he knew what he was talking about. There was a tremendous amount of care and compassion, and the amount of information that he was giving was unbelievable. So I was totally blown away. So you'd wonder, why aren't grants advertised? Well, the reason why most people don't know about government grants is because you don't see anything about it. When you're watching Netflix, there's no ad that says, hey, apply for the emergency rental assistance program, or, you're not going to see a billboard. Did you know that the taxpayer advocate system will protect you from the IRS taking too much of your money? Yes. Well, it's true. And that is one of the other things that I talk about in my book, Grants Made Easy. So the reason why you're not going to see grants advertised is because these agencies, programs, and the experts have already been paid by the government. So that means that the people who are there is actually a body, a governing body within the IRS that was placed there for the purpose of keeping the IRS honest, so that they're not unfairly charging you too much taxes. It's called the Taxpayer Assistant. No, I believe it's Taxpayer Assistant Program. And I have several references to this in my book, as well as all of the links that you can check. And The purpose of the taxpayer assistance program is to be able to speak with them so that you can raise any issues that you have with the IRS. They will advocate for you. They will give you assistance and help. They have their own attorneys that will represent you in court. It's amazing. So anyway, back to why grants aren't advertised. It's because the professionals, for example, the people in the Taxpayer Assistance Bureau, they have already been paid by the government. So there's no need whatsoever for them to advertise their services to other people because they're paid. They're well paid. I was incredibly blessed to have gotten so much help during the time when my family was in this incredibly difficult situation, owing so much rent. Over the past 2 years, I've gotten over $45,000 in government grants. And I know that because I did, you can too. And the way that I learned how to do that was I started by watching Matthew Lesko's YouTube channel. He has over 5,900 videos. And I started watching them and I was simply blown away. The information made so much sense. But at first, I was really lazy about it. And I was just kind of looking on websites and saying, oh no, there's nothing there, and applying, and nothing was really happening. But there was one particular video that I watched that he had put up, and it was that you have to contact your elected officials in order to find out about grants. And that's what you have to do. The doors will fly wide open when you do that because it's your elected official that has access to all of the nonprofits, all of the city agencies, the state, the local agencies, the foundations, all of the opportunities that exist for you to get grants, for you to get rental assistance, for you to get food assistance, for you to get assistance. Let's say that you have a pet who needs an operation, for you to get assistance for that. There is no end to what the opportunities are through grants. Having a hard time paying rent like I was, well, grants can help you. Back in 2020, when I first got my first grant of $1,800 through Catholic Charities, and the reason why I had gotten that grant was because I had contacted several different local elected officials. I contacted my assembly member. I contacted my congressman. I contacted both my senators. I contacted, I think, 3 other people, but I'm not sure who. And the one that I got the biggest response was my local senator, Senator Sue Serino of New York. And let me just clarify this because a lot of people are concerned about this. If you are, let's say you're a Republican and your senator is a Democrat, or vice versa, it does not matter. It does not matter because the grant system is nonpartisan. So it does not matter if you disagree with the politics of your local elected officials. If you didn't vote for them, it does not matter. Part of their job as an elected official is to assist their constituents. That's you. That's me. So when I contacted my local elected official, my senator, and I asked for rent relief, I got so much help. And one of the things that she did was she connected me with I believe, the director of Catholic Charities, and I did an intake. They took information from me. I gave them information verbally, and then after that, they asked me to provide the documents to confirm everything that I was saying. So, for example, they asked about my income, my husband's income, our bills, our budget, all of these things. And then soon after the intake, after I provided the information confirming all of my husband's eligibility in terms of income, I was given the grant for $1,800. And the way that it worked was they didn't hand me $1,800. It didn't work that way. But what they did was I signed a release form, and that was to give the Catholic Charities permission to contact my landlord directly to send the $1,800 to my landlord. And I did that. And it was amazing. So after that very first grant that I had gotten for $1,800, I was so excited. And I realized that you and so many other people could get help by knowing about this. So what I did was I invited a lot of my friends and a lot of my associates into this group. I started the Facebook group, Grants Made Easy with Andrea Amador. And Maria Elena Escobar was my dearest friend. And the reason I say is because she passed away last year, soon after my husband died. So Maria Elena was a coach like me, and she was on disability, having a hard time paying her rent. And I told her, hey, Maria Elena, why don't you apply for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program? And at the time, it had just started coming out, December of 2021. And she did. She applied. She lived in Pennsylvania. And the Emergency Rental Assistance Program I'm not exactly sure of the combination, if it was 10 months total, 6 months going back and going forward. I'm not sure. But she had gotten 1 month back rent and 3 months going forward, because she owed 1 month back rent and she applied for 3 months going forward. And if she was awarded 4 months, but she was actually awarded more than that, because after the 3 month mark, after that third month of receiving the future rent, she reapplied and she was accepted. She would have gotten 4 more months, but because she passed away, that money went back to the government. So there's a tremendous opportunity for you to get help with rent. Okay. So due to COVID, the government has increased the programs available to individuals to double the annual amount that's allocated. And right now, there's over $3 trillion available through nonprofits, foundations, organizations, city agencies, state agencies, just waiting to assist you. Grants can help you pay your mortgage. As I talk about in my book, there are programs available to help you to pay your mortgage. Now, I want you to think about this, okay? 1/3 of all money in the United States is controlled by the government. Like, wrap your brain around this. This is crazy. That means that nonprofits, private businesses, state agencies, federal agencies, they are all recipients of the government's money for the purpose of paying for their expert services to serve you and me. So that means that all of that money, 1/3 of all the money, is in the government's control. And the government has $3 trillion that they are itching to give away to help you, your family, and your business have a better life. If you're earning under $100,000, there are grants for which you can apply to help you. So, how can grants help your family? You can actually get financial relief for your family. Think for a moment of what life would be like. How would you feel if you knew that you had a resource that you could tap into that could give you access to information, to all of the ways, all of the services, all of the free services that you can provide for your family? I'm talking about free tuition. I'm talking about free dental care. I'm talking about free medical care. I'm talking about getting assistance with your pets, with tuition, with business counseling, with college counseling, career counseling, all of this and so much more. Free cars, repairing your cars. It's daunting to think of what is available. And I put all of this information in my book for you, along with all of the links. Now, how can grants help your business? Well, I'm so excited to tell you that there's this governing body called the Small Business Administration. And the Small Business Administration is appointed by the government for the purpose of serving small businesses. Small businesses, I still haven't checked. Sorry about that. I will. I'm not sure if the cap is $10 million or $100 million, that it can't earn more than 10 million or 100 million. But I think it's up to 300 people, employees, is considered a small business. I have to give you that information. I apologize. But there are over 1,000 chapters throughout the United States that serve the Small Business Administration for the purpose of giving you, the small business owner, the biggest advantage. I'm talking about if you have ever received private business coaching, you know that you can easily pay from $350 to $10,000 and even beyond that per hour. This is free. Free, free, free. You can get your taxes done for free. You can get consultation. There are no cost and low cost webinars and programs and networking events. And my gosh, there are so many opportunities that you have to grow your business, not just through grants for businesses, but through the Small Business Administration specifically. I have had direct experience with it. It has been amazing. In 2020, when everything went straight to hell for me, I knew that I had to rebuild my business. And so what I did was I went on the Small Business Administration website and I put in my zip code, which is what I'm going to direct you to do. Put in your zip code, your state and your zip code. And I found several local offices that were closest to me. I chose one that I really liked. It was the Women's Economic Development Center, WEDC. and it was focused specifically on serving female business owners in my area. And the first thing I did was I went on the website, and I was so unbelievably impressed because one of my friends had told me once that um, she wondered if the information that you get from the Small Business Administration was even current. She wondered if it would be out of date, like from the 1930s or something. No, no, no. It was really great information. I saw when I went to the website, I found a ton of webinars that were free on the site. I went, I clicked on, I found 3 that I really liked the idea of. I sat, I watched them. They were about an hour and a half each for free. And just to set expectations, when anything is controlled by a grant through the government, there is a lot of accountability that needs to be done. And what that means is that the nonprofit organization is they have to be accountable to the government for the grants for which they're being paid. So they need to know the people to whom they are providing their services. And so, as part of the registration process to view the webinars, there were a couple of online pages that I had to go through and share information about how much my business was making, and the address, and my EIN number, and all of this other pertinent information. So just, to be aware of that. And so, to make a long story short, because I want to do a whole separate webinar on my experience with Small Business Administration, there is so much that you can get as a small business owner through your alliance with the Small Business Administration. You're going to want to go to the website americassbdc.org, and that's where you will find all of the chapters that are throughout the United States. You're going to put your state and your zip code, and you'll be directed to find where your local chapter is. So, how can grants change your life? Oh my gosh. Well, I have just given you the basics, but there are personal grants that are available for travel, for buying homes, property, cars, pools, and more. I mean, the more research you do, the more you're willing to sit down and look and learn and watch videos and read websites and explore, it will blow your mind. And as I said, keep coming back that the way to get the grants is to contact the decision makers, the people who are in charge of serving their constituency, and that is your elected officials. You have to let them know you need help. So when you make a phone call and you call asking for, let's say, rent relief, or you're looking for tuition forgiveness, let's say on a student loan, you want to ask for help. You never, ever, ever, as I say in the book, and I stress in my book, Grants Made Easy, you never want to say, I'm looking for a grant. No, don't do it. Because it's not their job to help you to apply for a grant. What they do is they give you information that will either direct you to where you can find the grant, or they will direct you to somebody who can help you. But it's not called a grant. By using the label of the word grant, you are limiting your options, because grants are also called supplements. They're called direct payments. They're called relief. What other? uh, stimulant, stimulant, wait, stimulant? I'm not sure. Okay. Stimulus. Yeah, they're also called stimulus. They're called different things. So you don't want to box yourself in and create any miscommunication by asking for grants and risking that someone will say no, can't help you, when they didn't realize, oh, she's looking for help to, you know, pay her rent. She's having a hard time paying her rent, or he's looking for help to forgive his student loans. Okay, well, let me direct you to Senator Gillibrand's office, or, somebody else. All right. All right. Yes, grants are as abundant as having an ocean of fish. Now, here, if someone gives you a fish to eat, your hunger will be satisfied for a day. Okay? Maybe two if you don't eat too much. But if you learn how to fish, you will never go hungry again. So I want to share, I'm so excited that I have finished the book. I've finally finished the book. And for those of you who have been on my Facebook group, Grants Made Easy with Andrea Amador, I just want to say to you, thank you so much. I love you, and I love the support. You have been with me from the beginning, November 2020. And it means so much to me to know that I can help to give you a better life, as I have found through learning about grants. So the value of the book is $29, but I'm selling it to you now for $9.99. And in this book, you will get so much information to learn about where to get grants, how to contact the elected officials, where to find all of the elected officials from President Biden on down to your Supreme Court justice, to your local attorney general, your local, okay, I have totally lost it, but sheriff, your mayor, your governor, all of these people who are in charge of law enforcement and the judicial process are there to help you. So you will go to the site commoncause.org, and there you will find everything you need to know by putting in your address and your state. Buy the book. Okay, so there's more. I'm offering you the $29 value book for $9.99 again, plus the course, the Grants Made Easy course, which has 3 parts, and that is a getting started guide, emergency service, like what do you do if you're facing eviction? What do you do if you have a shutoff notice? What do you do? How do you find an attorney? Are you eligible? Can you get an attorney? All of these kinds of questions are answered in that guide. And the other one is the video of how to find your elected officials, taking you step by step through the process of going through the commoncause.org site and how to use it and what to do, and even a script offering you an idea of what to say. The combination of the two is a $58 value, and right now you're getting it for $19.98. Now, I'm also offering, if you need a little extra help, a grant winner bundle. And that is that all of the value of the $19.98, actually $58, for the combination of my book and the course is free for the purpose for the person who is interested in purchasing an hour of coaching with me, private coaching. is at a rate of $150 an hour. So if you are interested and you want my assistance to help you to map out a strategy of what to do, how to go about grants, what grants are right for you, I am here to help you. And all of that would be for the cost of $150. So let me check in with you and see if anybody has any questions. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I'm not seeing any questions. So it has been so much fun to talk to you, and I absolutely am thrilled at the possibility of you learning about grants and changing your life and your family's life and your business. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening and an awesome weekend. Okay, bye now.